Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this. I'd like to start with saying this. If you agree with science that the human brain is the most powerful supercomputer known to mankind, I want to ask you, what is your operating system for that supercomputer? What is your Windows? What is your Linux? What do you use to interface your mind and emotions? What's the programs you use? Because if it's a supercomputer, then that makes rational sense, right? Well, I'm making the argument that about 100 years ago, a few masters in their craft accidentally came up with this rudimentary operating system that could give mental and emotional literacy to the world. Now, when we taught people how to read and we gave them, verbal literacy or written literacy, it changed the world. When we taught people mathematics in school, we taught them numerical literacy, it changed the world. Well, I'm saying if we have a system in play to systemically teach all human beings mental and emotional literacy, why wouldn't it change the world? That system is very simple, and it's coming from a place that most people wouldn't think to look: in the arts, in the acting field. We are living in a world where 100 years ago, acting changed drastically. It's not about pretend, it's not about acting anymore, it's about being, becoming. We are teaching actors how to use real emotions in imaginary circumstances. Excuse me. We're teaching actors how to build a real working mindset that they can grow and develop for the use on stage. And I'm asking the question, why are we working so much harder to create imaginary people than real people? Let me lay a couple of the techniques in here. The Stanislavski system is used to break down a moment in 7 different ways to allow an actor to take a moment apart to gather as much information to make the best choices in that moment. There's 7 questions involved. Number 1, who am I? That's the moment in relation to you. Where am I? That's the moment in relation to the environment you're in. When is it? That's the moment in relation to time. What do I want? That's the moment in relation to action. Why do I want it? That's the moment the moment in relation to purpose. Why do I want it is the moment in relation to desire. How do I get it? That's the moment in relation to action. And then what's in my way? That's the moment in relation to obstacles. These 7 questions aren't just acting questions, they're life questions that people should be asking throughout the day. Actors ask this every moment of their life to the point where it becomes automatic. It's when they get on the stage, just boom, they create this life. How is that not useful to other people? Meisner teaches how to study behavior. Why isn't studying behavior something that's important to people? Acting has eventually evolved into what's hyper code switching, spiritual shapeshifting. It's evolved so much that it allows people to become anyone else for the imaginative. And again, why are we working so much harder to create imaginary people than real people? I have science and data to back all this up. I wrote a book about this that supports it. In 20 years, no one has been able to beat my argument. They start off saying no, but once I start laying out what I'm saying, all the details of it, and start producing the data where it's showing this is really working, then they backtrack. So, like I said, I feel like I'm sitting on white hot gold. It's just nobody cares because it's sitting in the wrong place. Actors have been on the lowest rung of the social ladder. They're the non-cool kids. Who's going to think to them to find advice? But again, think of it this way. When we look to artists who spent their whole life on their crafts, we respect their work. But think about what their work is. Like, glass makers work with glass, metal workers work with metal, painters work with canvas and paints, music with instruments. What does an actor work with? What's the marble that we chisel to create our masterpiece? The human mind and emotions. If you have experts spending their lifetime working to mold the human mind and emotions, what do you think they did? Because here's the reality, here's the rub. We don't have a mind and emotions for the stage and a mind and emotions for life. It's one and the same. Ipso facto, these people, when they were going into these techniques and tools to create all these different things to allow us to create real life for the imaginative, gave us a path to do it for everyone else. Like, how many people, rehearse their job interviews? How many people use these techniques for situational awareness to make sure that they're making all the right choices in the moment? Like I say, this unpacks so unbelievably much more. I just don't have the time here. But thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening to it, and I hope you give me a chance. Thank you.